The singer-songwriter behind hits like Friends in Low Places now facing accusations of sexual assault.
What's the best thing that's happened to you in your life?
I would say Garth, really.
60 candles should have set Trisha Yearwood's birthday cake glowing with pure joy. Yet the moment she opened her mouth, the air in the room seemed to vanish. The country star, famous for powerhouse ballads and comforting casseroles, let loose a confession that no one saw coming, and it sent shivers across her entire fan base. Behind the shelves stacked with Grammy statues, behind the bright lights that shoot across concert arenas, and behind every glossy photo of Peach Cobbler from her best-selling cookbooks, Trisha carried a weight that almost crushed her. She chose her milestone birthday to lift that lid, and the pain underneath was raw, shocking, and deeply human. The first crack in her armor came when she spoke about the loss that changed everything. Turning 60 should have been a victory lap, but it felt like running through a tunnel lined with ghosts. Each candle flickered like a tiny gravestone for people who never made it to see her blow them out. Her parents were never just parents. They were the solid ground beneath every stage she ever stepped on. Trisha talked about them in interviews with a glow that hinted at a bond thicker than sweet molasses. Vacations were not escapes from rules. They were full family adventures packed into a station wagon, radio on, laughter shaking the windows. While some teenagers count down days until freedom, Trisha and her sister Beth circle home like it was their own private planet. Losing Mom and Dad felt like the sky itself had crumbled. The heartbreak slammed her in two brutal waves. First, her father slipped away, and he left right as her first cookbook and cooking show were heating up kitchens across America. Imagine standing in front of hot lights, stirring gravy, and smelling nothing but sorrow. Every spoonful tasted like a goodbye. Just 3 years later, her mother followed, and with her went every shared tradition, every inside joke, every whispered prayer over supper. The silence after those deaths felt like culture turned to ash. Most fans saw the upbeat TV host tossing butter into a skillet, or the dazzling singer belting to sold-out crowds. They never saw the tears that soaked her handwritten recipe cards at midnight. They never heard the echo when she opened the door to a house that used to roar with conversation. Trisha never begged for pity. She channeled pain into art. Each dish on her show became a love letter. Each lyric in her songs became a hidden eulogy. The sudden emptiness made it even crueler. There was no long farewell, no cautious countdown. One ordinary Thursday, she had parents. By Friday, she had only photos. Cameras still caught her flawless makeup. Yet they never rolled during the mornings she lay frozen under the covers or the nights when a single song on the car radio blew up every fragile defense. Beth became her lifeline, the only person who could point to the same empty chairs at Thanksgiving and feel the identical sting. Beth was not just a sibling. She was the other half of a broken heart. "You're my person," Trisha whispered during one televised interview, tears wobbling on her lashes. Those words were not fluff. They were a password to survival. Together they clung to scrapbooks, holiday ornaments, and the smell of their mother's perfume, as if each memory were a plank on a sinking ship. Yet fans had no clue that, during this unbearable chapter, Trisha almost packed up her guitar and walked away from music forever. Arena lights felt harsh on grieving eyes. Songs felt empty, like balloons without air. Nights stretched long while her guitar rested in its case, strings untouched. The dreamer who once begged for the roar of applause now longed for silence, peace, and maybe a secret goodbye. What could possibly pull her back from that cliff? The answer was a voice that had been echoing beside her for decades. Garth Brooks, her husband, became the unexpected lifeline that saved her spirit. To the outside world, they are country music's ultimate power couple, glowing on red carpets, trading harmonies on stage. Behind closed doors, they were a man and woman battling a storm of grief that fans could never see. Garth knew he could not fix an unfixable loss. So he did something better. He created space. He let her scream, crumble, sob, and breathe, all without judgment. That gift of space became her oxygen mask. Garth's public image is larger than life. Stadium tours, record-breaking albums, and a personality bright as floodlights. Yet at home he turned down the volume and became calm incarnate. a steady drumbeat reminding Trisha that days can slow to a gentle heartbeat. He proved his promise with action. He secretly arranged studio sessions where Beth and Trisha could record lullabies that once filled their childhood living room. He studied her mother's handwriting and had it stitched onto a quilt. So even sleep felt like a hug. The most jaw-dropping gesture arrived on her 50th birthday. Garth rolled out a candy apple red Mustang, a rare anniversary model with fewer than 2,000 ever made. This was not a flashy toy to park for bragging rights. It was a time machine on wheels. It yanked Trisha back to rural Georgia roads. Windows down, hair whipping, dreams racing the wind. The message was loud without words. The past can ride with you without causing pain. It can rev beside you as you speed into tomorrow. Trisha's 60-year confession peeled away every shiny layer of celebrity. She revealed the fragile woman who cooks with ghosts, sings through tears, and once considered walking off the very stage that built her legend. Fans now see the complete portrait. Heartbreak, bravery, and the thunderous love that stitched her back together. Her story is devastating yet inspiring, and it proves that even icons can be shattered and still stand tall again. Brace yourself. The small surprise Garth Brooks planned for Trisha Yearwood turned a quiet listening session into an emotional earthquake. She pressed play on a final mix, then froze as a second voice joined her melody. Her sister Beth in perfect harmony. Beth had never stepped inside that studio. Garth secretly flew her in, recorded the part, then whisked her home without a whisper. The moment Trisha heard it, she crumbled in tears. That single harmony was not just music. It was home. These were not flashy gestures designed for cameras. Each move was a gentle anchor from a husband who saw his wife drifting. Piece by piece, he handed Trisha the parts of herself she feared were gone forever, and slowly the singer who once felt hollow started to glow again, stronger than before. Yet even love as deep as there's as sharp edges. Trisha admits that sharing life with a man adored by arenas can feel like splitting him with the entire planet. Doubt crept in, asking if her own light could shine beside his superstar glare. Garth answered that fear with action. He slid the spotlight toward her without hesitation and cheered from the wings. Still, as her career wobbled and grief clung like fog, one quiet thought kept thumping inside her head. Were her brightest days already behind her, or did an unseen chapter wait just offstage ready to steal the show? Fame, food, and the ghosts in her kitchen. To outsiders, Trisha's leap from chart-topping singer to beloved cooking show host looked smooth as warm gravy. Hidden from view was a painful truth. Trisha's Southern Kitchen was never meant to be a shiny TV deal. It was a lifeline wrapped in apron strings, a desperate way to cling to the parents she had lost. Every spoonful she tasted on camera carried a memory. Often it carried ghosts. When her mother and father passed, the silence inside her house felt like a door slamming on childhood itself. The scent of her mom's laughter, the rumble of her dad's stories while stew simmered. Gone overnight. Grief drifted into every corner like dust no broom could reach. So Trisha fled to the stove and turned pain into nourishment. Each dish became a love spell. Her mother's potato salad was more than a recipe. It was a ritual. The smell, the creamy texture. Even the old bowl on the counter yanked her mother into the room for one brief heartbeat. Trisha's series was never about flash cooking tricks. It was a soft rebellion against forgetting, a gentle fight with time. Viewers who tuned in thought they were watching supper. They were really witnessing a woman stitch herself back together. The twist that haunted Trisha was cruel. Food healed her spirit, yet it also triggered lifelong battles with weight and body image. While magazines praised her buttery biscuits, she battled fears of what each bite could cost under a glare that demands female stars look perfect. The kitchen relaxed her yet doubled as a battlefield. On talk shows, she joked about her yo-yo dieting, but her laughter hid a fierce struggle to stand on television in her true body. Not a size 2, not an unreachable ideal. Simply Trisha, strong, layered, real. That inner fight felt just as fierce as any climb up a music chart. Refusing to vanish, she faced cameras anyway. Stretch marks, cravings, victories, stumbles. She spoke out about loving food and still wanted to feel good inside her skin. She taught women that the messy middle is allowed. You can enjoy pie and still respect yourself. That calm confidence lasts much longer than any airbrush photo. Even so, every new season meant staring down fresh critics' hot lights, ticking scales, and her own loud inner judge. Yet every finished plate remained a tribute to family, love, grief, and grit folded into batter, then brushed with butter. Viewers fighting their own losses felt the warmth through their screens. As ratings climbed and headlines crowned her America's Southern sweetheart, another idea bubbled quietly on the back burner. Was she brave enough to reveal a brand new recipe forming in her heart? One bold enough to change everything? The song she almost refused to sing. Trisha Yearwood has always understood the power of a song. Each lyric she delivers feels soaked in truth, each note charged with raw emotion. Yet, one track almost silenced her, not because the melody was tough, but because it cut too close. I Remember You was never just another tune. It was a goodbye she never got to say, a tear-stained letter to the past. When Trisha first read the words, she froze. Lines about voices gone quiet, hands no longer there, empty chairs at the table. Every phrase pierced a fresh wound left by her mom. Studio lights blurred as hospital rooms, late-night phone calls, and that final drive home flashed through her mind. She sobbed once, then again, and for a heartbeat she considered skipping the song completely. Music, however, is her diary, her confession booth, her therapy. Instead of backing away, she leaned in a stunning move. She called for the only person who could share this grief note for note, her sister Beth. Garth handled the rest, arranging the secret session that placed Beth's harmony behind Trisha's lead. Hearing the finished track for the first time, Trisha dropped in tears once more. That moment was not about chasing chart perfection. It was preservation, proof that we are still here. Every breath carried their mother's spirit. When Beth's voice curled beneath Trisha's, it felt like two little girls again, side by side, singing in the family kitchen while their parents swayed by the radio. The instant Trisha Yearwood dropped, I Remember You, the air around her practically cracked with emotion. Charts did not matter that night. The track gave her a private doorway to speak straight to her mother, and fans had no clue how much it hurt to step through it. Each time she sang the ballad, she locked eyes with someone in the front row who was wiping fresh tears, and the sight reminded her that grief speaks one language for everyone. She was never truly alone in that ache. Backstage, the price was fierce. Some nights, she crumpled the moment she reached the wings. A few shows ended with her voice catching so hard she could not finish the final chorus. She still kept the song on the set list, not from duty but from devotion, because her mother had raised her honor truth, and this song was pure truth. The weight was brutal, yet singing poured medicine into a wound that refused to close. The pain did not vanish, but it finally had purpose. Listeners who carried their own losses felt seen, and that has always been Trisha's super skill. Her voice makes strangers feel a real heartbeat. Just as she steadied her balance, rumors drifted through Nashville like night fog. Was Trisha preparing to walk away from music altogether? Could the stage that made her a household name be losing its glow? Or was something bigger tugging her toward a new horizon? Whispers of retirement. A voice slowing down. When the curtain fell on another sold-out tour, something fell off. Fans saw it, bandmates murmured about it, and even security guards sensed a shift. Trisha Yearwood, once a bolt of lightning on stage, now looked calm, thoughtful, almost fragile. Each encore sounded like goodbye. The whispers had roots. In recent interviews, she had begun dropping words such as legacy and reflection. She talked about time racing faster than she liked, about sipping quiet coffee instead of chasing chaos, about listening instead of always performing. She never said the word retirement. Yet her tone felt as if she was folding one chapter instead of racing into the next. Friends revealed that she guarded her hours like treasure. After losing both parents, the spotlight felt less cozy. Cheers no longer fueled her the same way. Peace came from stirring soup in her own kitchen, tossing tennis balls for her dogs, and sitting on the porch with Garth Brooks. For the first time in decades, she pictured evenings without stage lights blazing in her eyes. Leaving, however, is never simple when every note on the radio carries your name. Supporters begged her to stay, and deep inside Trisha was unsure as well. Her chest still fluttered whenever she heard her own songs while driving. The thrill had not died. It had just grown small, like a candle shivering in a drafty room. Shield her fan it. She did not know. Pressure from all sides. The music business can be ruthless. Any hint of slowing down looks like weakness. Industry gossip snickered. She lost her edge, and she cares more about cooking shows, and her moment is gone. Those jabs stung. Yet Trisha had stopped chasing approval. She hunted for meaning. If that journey led to fewer tours, fewer interviews, and extra time at home with Garth and Beth, she was willing to pay that price. Opportunities still piled up. An open slot for a Vegas run, a flashy reality show, another cookbook deal. Trisha waved most of them away. Overexposure scared her more than failure. She wanted to guard what stayed sacred. The music, the memories, and the small daily wonders, now worth more than any trophy. If you love hidden tales of country legends, tap like, hit subscribe, and jump into the next story waiting right here for you.